Hello, everybody. Welcome to another series of Talk It Out. Today, we've got a very distinguished guest with ourselves, a name, a brand, a successful entrepreneur, and a very well known businessman in Pakistan. We've got Mr. Deepak Perwani, who is a brand in itself and has worked to contribute towards this country, particularly in the field of fashion designing. We'll have a conversation with him. We'll talk about how his life was. We'll talk about how did he become the brand he is, and how did he establish himself today in Pakistan. Hello, Mr. Deepak Perwani. Thank you for sparing time for us today. It's wonderful meeting you.
No, thank you for having me. It's very kind of you guys. You look extremely nervous. Don't look nervous at all. Yes. We'll breeze through this podcast together. And I'm very, very excited to be here. And thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. So ICE are basically educational institutions. We have taken a different approach. We are making our students learn skills as well as developing them with their academic profiles. A very different concept. We are offering education through UK universities as well as opening doors for students to join universities in Pakistan with the foundation years and H&D programs. So we'll try to also navigate the experiences of our students and connect them particularly in the field of fashion, which is not really sought after in Karachi or other countries in the depth that it is being bloomed right now. For that, I'd like to delve a little bit deeper into your academic experiences. I heard in a podcast that you were really not good at mathematics, and I relate to that. So, and I've got students who have been saying the same thing. So, what would you say about that?
I think I flunked math about 9 times, if I remember correctly. क्या कहते हैं वो सेमेस्टर के पैसे दे के थक गए 9 दफ़ा. But I did Calc 102 and I got a B in that, but 101 I could not. मेरे ख्याल में ज़रूरी नहीं है कि जो एक इंसान की वीकनेस हो और उस इंसान में दूसरी स्ट्रेंथ ना हो. I think all human beings, especially when we're going through our student career, we explore ourselves and we tend to find our own strengths and weaknesses. So I always thought that I was very good with advertising. I was very good at marketing. When I did projects in school or in class, I was number 1 in those projects. But when it came to accounts and mathematics, I was a bit peachy. Though considering that I do run a business myself, and I've done pretty well as far as that is concerned. So I think एक human development का भी एक part होता है. Because अगर हम बाहर देखें, तो if you can't take a major or a minor selective, then you take humanities, so you take something till you decide your courses to move forward. और पाकिस्तान में हमारे पास जो है वो chance जो है वो इतना नहीं दिया जाता एजुकेशन के मामले में, and you have to do that course till you move forward. As far as design is concerned, वो एक थोड़ा मेरा इंटरेस्ट था. इंटरेस्ट तो एक्टर बनने का था, बन गया डिज़ाइनर. तो कभी कभी एक्टिंग भी कर लेते हैं. And that's how the journey started. And when I look back, almost 30 years now, when I look back, I can't complain because I think I learned my strengths and weaknesses in college, and I used them to move forward with my own life.
So you always knew that this would be your forte, or did you struggle between fields to decide?
I did. I was I think I was 19. I was 19, and I had just come out of St. Patrick's High School. And my father wanted me to go to the government commerce college. And in those days, there was no private education in Pakistan. LUMS abhi naya khula tha. And so then they shipped me off to America for a couple of years. And wahan my uncle used to have a factory, garment factory. So we used to supply garments to Macy's and to Conway and to JCPenney and all of these brands. So I started working with him, and I found that I was very interested in design. Not design particularly, but in fashion per se. मैं रोज़ जाता था भागते हुए कोई नई कमीज़ ले आता था अपने लिए. रोज़ जाता था भागते हुए कोई नई टाइप की पैंट ले आता था. कभी बाल कटवा लेता था, तो बचे नहीं हैं. And my ताया would call up my father from New York to Karachi and say, ये तुम्हारा बेटा तो अभी इसको सिर्फ 3 महीने हुए आए हुए और उसका तो दिमाग ही ख़राब होता जा रहा है. ये तो नए नए बाल कटवा के आ जाता है, पता नहीं नया नया फैशन इसको आदत हो गई है. So उस ज़माने में वो एक इंटरेस्ट था कपड़े पहनने का. कपड़े बनाने का नहीं था इतना. लेकिन जब when I got back to Karachi and so I transferred all my credits to Greenwich. वो पहली प्राइवेट यूनिवर्सिटी उस वक्त खुली थी. तो मेरे ख्याल में जितने भी लूजर्स थे वो सारे ग्रेनिच ही जाने थे. Actually no, they were not losers at all. They were quite brilliant people. और तो I felt bad asking for pocket money. Okay, because जब आप बाहर रहते हो और जब आप पाकिस्तान वापस से आते हो तो वो डॉलर रुपी में आपको रुपी की इतनी वैल्यू नहीं होती. तो मैं कोई 50-60 हज़ार रुपये महीना ले रहा था अपने माँ बाप से पॉकेट मनी, और मुझे बड़ा बुरा लगा कि आई वॉज. सो आई डिसाइडेड कि चलो अंकल की फैक्ट्री में चलते हैं, कुछ बनाते हैं, देखते हैं क्या होता है. सो आई मेड दीज 19 शर्ट्स एंड आई वेंट टू अ वेरी स्मॉल स्टोर, मोटास के पास होता था वो, और मैंने उसको वो शर्टें दी और मैंने कहा कि यार वो भी बचा कुछ कपड़ा जो उनकी फैक्ट्री में पड़ा हुआ था,
जो बोर्ड बेसिन के पास,
बोर्ड बेसिन के पास. एंड मैंने कहा कि यार अब मेरी शर्ट्स रख लेंगे. तो उसने कहा हाँ. तो 2 हफ्ते बाद उसका फ़ोन आया कि जी 19 शर्टों में से कुछ 13-14 शर्टें बिक गई हैं, आप और बना दें, आप और बना दें. सो मैं कहा चलो, पॉकेट मनी बनती रही कोई 1 साल तक. एंड ऑल ऑफ अ सडन ही टर्न ऑन हिज सेड कि यू नो यू हैव टू टेक दिस सीरियसली एज अ प्रोफेशन. तो मैंने कहा यार मैं आई एम ओनली हियर एज फार एज आई एम प्रीटी मच इन ट्रांजिशन एंड आई वुड लाइक टू गो बैक टू द यूएस. आई वुडंट वांट टू लिव इन पाकिस्तान. And he said, "Nahi, I cannot stock you anymore unless and until you change the name of the label to Deepak Perwani."
Excellent.
The label was called Design Studio in those days. तो मैंने कहा भाई मैंने इतने पैसे खर्च किए हैं, वो लेबल बनवाए हैं, और मेरे पास वो दीपक परवानी के क्या कहते हैं लेबल बनाने के पैसे तक नहीं हैं. तो आई कांट चेंज माई लेबल. मैंने आई मेड 5,000 लेबल्स एंड आई ओनली यूज 300, और वो 4,700 लेबल्स पड़े हुए हैं. He said, नहीं, if you don't put your name and become more professional about this, we can't stock you anymore. So I said, okay. So I went and made new labels, and he insisted that I should keep my name. And that's how the brand happened, and I never went back to the US.
So this transitioning from the US to Pakistan, and I heard in one of your interviews you said that if there's any other country, there would have been or might have been many Deepak Perwanis, but in Pakistan, you're the only Deepak Perwani. So we have students in Pakistan right now who deliberately want to leave the country, who want to just go abroad, settle themselves there, which I believe is a thing that can be done and should be done until they're settled. But giving back to the country the way you have done, the way you have sustained yourself here, and the way you have given back to the community, would you like to share with the audience the importance of that particular notion?
I think halat bhi different hai. I wouldn't blame the students if they want to go for the greener pastures. Please do so. I think हर कोई अपनी अपनी ज़िंदगी अच्छी गुजारना चाहता है, टेंशन फ्री गुजारना चाहता है. वो सुबह उठना चाहता है और it doesn't want to deal with कि जी टायर पंचर हो गया, या किसी ने साइड मिरर का शीशा निकाल लिया है, यहाँ आज पानी नहीं है, यहाँ बिजली नहीं है, यहाँ गैस नहीं है, ठीक है ना, यहाँ you have so many issues on that macro level that you have in Pakistan that you don't have abroad, because the infrastructure is so much better. मैं समझता हूँ कि 2023 में अब ये छोटी छोटी चीज़ें जिसमें इंसान की ज़िंदगी आसान हो सके, ये तो हो जानी चाहिए. This is a job of a system or a government, और अगर अब भी लोग इसी पीछे इसी चीज़ को अगर सॉल्व करने की सुबह को कोशिश कर रहे हैं, तो then how will they move forward? How will they become productive? How do they become educative? We were in fact talking about this the other day, and we were thinking that shops open at 12:30 in the afternoon in Pakistan, and that's very late. While in other countries in the world, shops are open at 8 o'clock in the morning. बर्फ पड़ रही हो, बारिश हो रही हो, कुछ भी हो रहा हो, सुबह 8 बजे मॉल खुल जाता है, सुबह 8 बजे दुकानें खुल जाती हैं.
Very punctual.
Right.
Yes.
Would you blame someone if they wanted to go abroad and live their lives?
I wouldn't.
Yeah. As far as contributing back is concerned, everybody wants to contribute back, and they should. But I also think that they need to look at the times that they're living in. Maybe our times were much easier when we got back, and things were much better. In today's day and age, people are running away because they're looking for immigration abroad. They're looking for better chances abroad. I don't want to blame them. I don't want to blame anyone. But the system is a bit broken, where individual, highly qualified graduates can't get a job. The system has turned itself in such a way that only mediocrity rises to top, and the excellence is sitting at home. So until that system changes, I don't think there's any Pakistani or any patriot or any person in the world who wouldn't want to go back to their own country and contribute. So guys, have a great time abroad. And when things are better, sure, come back and do it.
I'm pretty sure everybody's having a great time abroad. Yes, so coming back to this point that you just said, we have got a fashion institute in ICE in Islamabad as well, and we are also going to offer courses here pretty soon. So the queries we get most related to this field is that skills are more necessary rather than the education in this field. And we normally have to break down this stereotypical notion that education is as important as gaining the skill which is necessary and the experience which is necessary. What would be your take on this?
I think both ways. I think first of all, like they say, that you must have the eye. If you don't have the eye for fashion, education is not the eye for fashion. Education is learning fashion. Education is learning the how a garment is made, how things are constructed, how embroideries are done, what is right, what are fabrics, what is calico, what is fusing, what is lining. Okay, so I wasn't trained as a fashion designer. I was trained as a merchandiser. But when I started doing fashion, because I had so much passion for it, I would rip apart all of my clothes. I would rip apart clothes. I would go to Sunday market. I would go here. I would go wherever I liked a jacket, wherever I liked a shirt, wherever I liked a corset, wherever I liked if I wanted to think of doing complicated clothes for women, मैं जाके उसका sample उठाता था, उसको चीट फाड़ कर देता था, because I wanted to see कि वो अंदर से बनता कैसे. Okay, so there are there are many kinds of, I would say, fashion designers. Okay, one who train and they have the eye, one who train and do not have the eye, so they leave fashion. Same thing goes for art. Okay, so like वो कहते हैं कि जो failed artists होते हैं वो gallery owners बन जाते हैं.
No.
मतलब जिनकी इतनी गाड़ी नहीं चलती तो वो gallery owner बन जाते हैं basically. तो so it depends, but I think education is very, very important. Why? Because it refines you, it educates you. It also provides you the contacts and the comfort zone of making friends, of getting out of your own skin, of losing your insecurities. There's so many things to learn. मैं एक ज़माने में कहता था कि यार, when modeling was considered not a very good field, this is maybe 25 years ago, मैं कहता था कि you must model. Why? Because जब इंसान वो उस रैम्प पे आता है, तो वो इतना करेज चाहिए होता है लोगों के सामने चल के और वापस आना कि it's very good for your insecurities. It makes you a confident person. Exactly. So everything is an exercise to achieving a certain goal. And so is education. So my nephew is quite a padhaku and quite studious and quite brilliant actually. So he asked me the same question the other day. Ke, Mamo, why do I need to study when I'm doing so well? वो ऑनलाइन शॉनलाइन में वो कुछ पैसे वैसे बनाता है, वो स्टॉक्स तो पता नहीं वो कुछ करता है चीज़ें. तो मैंने कहा मैं थप्पड़ मारूंगा. You have to go and get education.
Yes.
Okay, that's paramount.
Very innocent, yes. So in the field of fashion designing, 20 to 30 years back, when it was really not that blooming, or when it was just the pinnacle of, it wasn't the pinnacle
the
of
beginning,
the beginning of the career, the field that you chose. Were there any setbacks or any stereotypical norms that you had to break, or the society challenged you, or you faced any problems that you overcame?
So when I started, Karachi had nothing. ठीक है, जमजमा भी नया आया था और कॉपर केटल खोला था, और अमीर अदनान ने नई दुकान खोली थी. But Adnan used to do sherwanis and that kind of stuff. And I was this funky kid who just come back and he wanted to do something edgy. और तो उस ज़माने में तो ना लाल कमीज़ पहनी जाती थी, ना पिंक कमीज़ पहनी जाती थी, ना ब्लू कमीज़ पहनी जाती थी. उस ज़माने में तो उसे पहना ही कुछ नहीं जाता था भाई. ओके, और जब कोई पहनता था तो उसका मजाक उड़ाया जाता था कि ये लाल कमीज़ पहन के आ गया, ये पिंक कमीज़ पहन के आ जाए. लुक हाउ फैशन इज चेंज्ड. तो उस ज़माने में आपके पास ना रिटेल का कॉन्सेप्ट था, उस ज़माने में ना आपके पास कोई मॉल्स थे, उस ज़माने में आपके पास आपके पास कुछ था नहीं. यू वेंट टू अ टेलर बेसिकली टू गेट एवरीथिंग मेड फॉर योर सेल्फ. जूते की दुकान पे जूता खरीदा, टेलर की दुकान पे गए, कपड़े ऑर्डर किए और वापस आ गए. आई रिमेंबर आई यूज्ड टू गो टू मूसा जी टू गेट माई सूट्स मेड इन दोज डेज. तो those 30 years we were just excited. We were not there for the money. We were more there that this was his market, and whatever we were making was being appreciated. और उस ज़माने में सिर्फ फैशन नहीं आया, उस ज़माने में एक नया फिनोमेना आया म्यूज़िक वीडियोज़ का, जो कि पहले नहीं होते थे. तो I and a couple of our friends, Tapu included, Tariq Amin, we decided कि यार इन बेचारे बच्चों के पास पैसे तो होंगे नहीं, तो I'll do their wardrobes for free अगर हमें गाने पसंद आए तो. So we literally used to pitch in together. Okay, and I remember I did Junoon's first wardrobe, and this was Vital Signs was the big band and Junoon was the upcoming band. Or they were doing their world tour for the first time. And they were going to India and they were going to a lot of other countries. And I did the wardrobe for Brian, for Salman, and for Ali. And if I tell you the cost of the wardrobe, and I remember asking them for money, and they said, Deepak, yaar, tum itne paise maang rahe ho. You know what the bill was for 3 boys? 6,000 rupees.
Oh, Lord. And it was that expensive.
It was that expensive. So वो भी ज़माना था एक. वो भी ज़माना था जिसको कहते हैं. And then, of course, that entire sort of excitement started. We started doing, because I love doing music videos in those days. So I did everyone's music videos from Ali Azmat to Junoon to Hadika Kiani, Awaz, Vital Science, Najam Shiraz, जितने भी bands आए, Rashk, EP, Entity, Paradigm, जिसमें फवाद खान होता था अपने ज़माने में, Ali Zafar. I mean, we just went on and on and on. And suddenly the market started growing और चीज़ें होने लगी. उसके बाद I think it was about 15 years ago, we did Fashion Week, Pakistan's first Fashion Week. तो वहाँ से मॉल कल्चर आना शुरू हो गया. और फिर लास्ट 30 सालों में तुम लोग देख लो, मॉल कल्चर आ गया, सेल्स आ गई हैं, मदर्स डे, फादर्स डे, इंडिपेंडेंस डे, ब्लैक डे, ब्लैक फ्राइडे. अब तो क्या नहीं, अब तो जो बेचना है बेच लो यार, से लगा दो.
बस एक opportunity चाहिए.
So it only took these 20-25 years to change the whole game around.
Exactly. It has been that crucial.
But it has to be, it always has to be a collective effort.
I agree.
You know, like-minded people have to come together. Like you guys do projects, you guys do assignments or thesis or anything that you guys do. A lot of those are collective efforts of everyone. And that's what it was. Okay. We were all excited. We were all young. And we all wanted to make a difference.
And this sense of community building when people come together and support each other. It's very
absolutely. And I think that's the way it should be.
I agree, yes.
Or pehla, I think my first video that I did was Mr. Fraudier. That was my first video. And my last video that I've done was Baji the film. I did the whole film actually. And the videos that I'm proud of that I've done so far, and I've done many, is Nare Naab Ali Azmat. I designed that video for Saqib Malik. Hamaj was also done by me. And Behti Nar by Rashk. And they were all
the iconic.
Well, they were iconic. Well, there was also Rangeen, and there was also Etabar, and there were also, Mahi Way, and there were a lot of other videos. But these are the ones that I think are kind of the pinnacle of iconic video making in Pakistan. Yeah.
I have seen your designs. I've been going. I was looking at your page as well, and I realized and I saw that culture is very deeply embedded in your ethnic wear or your bridal wear. So your association and your inclination towards this basic culture notion. Why is that? Why don't you delve into modernist stuff or?
Because I feel that as all designers have a certain design philosophy. And I think everything that had to be done in fashion has been done. Okay? So obviously a Gora can make a better black dress than I can, but we both can make a black dress, right? When you go international, you must always take something from your culture and make it global. And that's what is something that is original. Okay? If I took something from the West and tried to make it original here, it's nothing. And why would I? We come from such a rich heritage background, 5,000 years of civilization, from dyeing to printing to block printing to the subcontinent gave us everything. I mean, by the time the Mughal Empire got finished or the Indian empires got finished, we got everything. We got jewelry, we got costume design, we got food, we got art, we got culture, we got carvings, we got everything. अगर कोई कहे कि जी आपकी नेशनल डिश क्या होती है तो हमारे यहाँ तो दस्तरखान लग जाए नेशनल डिश के, बिकॉज दैट्स हाउ शाही दस्तरखान्स वर.
The variety.
अगर कोई इंग्लैंड से पूछे कि जी व्हाट वाज योर नेशनल डिश, विल बी फिश एंड चिप्स एंड शेपर्ड्स पाई. सो यू कैन जस्ट इमेजिन द कल्चर डाइवर्सिटी एंड what kind of a rich heritage you're coming from. Sad part is that in Pakistan we're not that aware of our own heritage because we've never sort of promoted our culture or our background, and we tend to kind of sadly we tend to kind of take everything from 1947 forward as opposed to taking the 5,000 years before that. Okay.
So our students as well, I see it, and when I'm teaching as well, I see a lot of students who've got this notion of changing themselves, westernizing themselves rather than adopting their own cultural heritage.
That's okay. You can be Western. You can be Western. You can be Eastern. You can be whatever. You want to be a rapper? Go be rapper, yaar. I mean, who hell cares? बस गालियाँ ना देना rap गानों में.
Exactly.
बड़ी बुरी लगती हैं, है ना? वो जो बच्चों के लिए तो बिल्कुल सही नहीं है. But other than that, go and express yourself and be whatever you want to be. Because your culture or your background, if you know your own history, will always give you strength to move forward. Okay? It'll always keep you grounded. It'll always make you understand कि मेरे roots यहाँ के हैं. And you'll always feel pride in those roots. आजकल गड़बड़ चल रही है लेकिन वैसे तो pride है. चलो.
Okay, so we have talked about Mr. Deepak Perwani's life, his profession, his association with the field of fashion designing. Now we are going to delve a little bit deeper into his personal life. We are going to talk about his personality, how he groomed himself to be the person he is today, and originally what type of a person he is. So, Mr. Deepak Perwani, if I'll ask you this question, which is very questionable.
Why don't you try the question first?
So, as a person, what kind of a person you are? Are you mellow, grounded?
No, not at all. I'm an extremely hyper human being. I like control. I like to do things the way I want them to look like. I think I have a great sense of astute taste and style. I'm very assertive. We recently got 2 dogs. They're called Bunty and Bubbly. And they are 2 pugs, a female and a male. That's the new. We also have 2 cats at home. One is called Kitty Perwani and one is called Kimi Katkar Perwani, who was a B-grade Indian film star back in the days. Okay, that's all that I can delve about my own private life. Other than that, I'm an extremely private human being. I'm a lot of fun. My friends say that I am the best person to take on a holiday. And that's when you really get to know your friends, when you take a holiday with them, by the way. Okay. Other than that, what is my routine or my schedule? Nowadays, I do intermittent fasting for about 18 hours to lose weight. You gotta look good if you're in fashion. And I walk about 9 kilometers a day. I take about 4 holidays a year. I haven't taken a holiday this year. अभी तक टिकटें थोड़ी महंगी हो गई हैं. और क्या कहते हैं उसको? Other than that, what else do I do? I do a lot of other projects besides fashion. I do television. I act sometimes. I do consultancies for hotels, for education institutions, for restaurants. I am an avid art collector. I love music. I used to play football in school. What else? Nowadays, I just hang out by my pool and play with the dogs.
Oh, that's absolutely fantastic. So I see a huge range of choices. I see a pattern of art. I see a pattern of dedication.
I think you must. I think if you, क्या कहते हैं उसको? Interest तो इंसान को alive रखना चाहिए अपना, और interest में if you can find something to do, and it's better than just sitting and watching Netflix all the time, भाई. इंसान को interest अपना रखना चाहिए, आगे बढ़ना चाहिए और कुछ ना कुछ करते रहना चाहिए. Because हमारे पास जो environment है, and I'm not apologizing for it, but हमारे पास जो environment है, it can make you feel really depressing, because you've not had those opportunities that normal kids would have had. Parks and grounds and basketball courts or tennis courts or swimming pools, or there's nothing that the city can offer you, does it? So what do? I mean, I feel very bad when so I live in Defense, and then there's Khadda Market, so sometimes we have to go there. एक तो काला पुल and Khadda Market, I mean, क्या नाम है वैसे? लेकिन sometimes you have to go there, and I feel very bad in the evening कि young kids my age, younger than me, are just sitting on roadsides playing Ludo and playing cards and doing nothing with their lives. And I'm a creature that likes change constantly. I'm not a creature that can just sit around and just waste a day.
I think that is the only way for our generation to kind of vent out, particularly relating to it. There's not much to do here.
नहीं मैं तो कहता हूँ करो भाई, जो opportunity मिलता है. देखो try नहीं करोगे जिंदगी में कोई चीज़, तो फिर सीखोगे कैसे?
Exactly.
Okay, I used to give this great example कि you must learn how to fall before you can learn how to fly. Okay.
I agree.
इंसान जितनी ठोकर खाता है, उस ठोकर से सीखता है और आगे बढ़ता है. And that's the way life should be.
And that's what scares people the most. Not to take that first
When
step.
those are the demons you have to let go.
You have to let go, exactly.
Start walking on the ramp, it'll help.
I know. So I particularly would be very scared if I'd be joining the field of fashion design in Pakistan in terms of my student body. I've got questions from students, especially for this podcast, that they really want to do it, but there's this stigma that their parents would not allow it, or the society would not accept them the way, and they would not get success like the other fashion designers have got, and it takes a lot of effort.
Everything takes a lot of effort and a lot of money, and because I mean कपड़ा भी खुद खरीद रहे हो, बना भी खुद रहे हो, marketing भी खुद कर रहे हो, और फिर आगे उसको बेचने की कोशिश भी खुद कर रहे हो. So these are obviously you're taking care of all the M's and all the P's. Let's put it that way. As far as the society is concerned, I think once you become successful, okay, they all
They love you.
They love you. Okay, so great question that you asked. So I come from a very conservative family, and when I started design, my father did not approve of it at all. So we are a landowning family from Ipoh Khas, and my father's dialogue to me was that said Ratan Kumar Perwani's son's going to become a tailor. I remember this really well. So on my third fashion show, backstage before the fashion show finished, this model came up to me and said, "You know, I think I saw your dad in the audience." I said, "That's not possible. My dad's never going to come to my show." Okay, literally. I said that. She said, "No, I think I saw your dad. He came, and before you walked out, he left. So I think he saw your fashion show." So yeah, the early years was a lot of battle between me and my dad. It was a battle because he didn't accept a lot of things. Especially couldn't decipher the fact that I would leave 3,000 acres of land and wanting to be a tailor. Okay. But eventually, the respect came, not just from him, but when the global respect came, then of course, finally his respect also arrived.
That is amazing.
Okay. But that was 30 years ago. I think in today's day and age, तो ये मसला ही होना नहीं चाहिए. If the kids, I think जो insecurity आती है इंसान की, वो इसी बात से आती है because you're not so sure of yourself. Okay. But anything in life, any business is a learning curve. And on that curve, ठोकरें तो पड़ेंगी और इंसान आगे भी बढ़ेगा. तो ज़्यादा क्या होगा अगर नुकसान हो गया तो, right? 1 year you make money, 1 year you lose money, 1 year make money. And if I remember, the first 5 years I did not make any money. Mm-hmm. The first 5 years, all the money that I made, I put it back into the marketing and advertising to grow the business. Mm-hmm. I started making money after 7 years.
Okay. Yeah. So it was a bit of a struggle, and then you finally got to a point where you established yourself.
Well, in my 4th year, my parents decided to, okay, enough is enough, and this is what he really wants to do. So my parents gave me that Zamzama store as a birthday present. So a little bit of push did come eventually. But then after that, I mean, that was 25 years ago. For 25 years, I've taken care of them. Okay, I've taken care of everything possible. So, I mean, जहाँ पर एक मेहनत होती है और क्या कहते हैं मशक्क़त होती है, फिर एंड में जाकर उसका एक रिवॉर्ड भी होता है.
It pays off.
It pays off.
It does. Yeah. Yes. So all of you guys who ask me this question, I'm pretty sure the answer is sufficient for you. Okay, so now talking about a little bit of the academic perspective and the courses that we are going to offer. What advice would you give our students who are particularly interested in joining this field? And is there any tidbits that you'd like to share, or kind of a beginner's loop that you'd like to say?
I think travel helps.
Travel.
I think travel helps because, fashion is a very dynamic business and a very dynamic field. Mm-hmm. Taste helps, of course. Mm-hmm. Travel helps. Mm-hmm. Understanding your markets, understanding which market you cater to. For a simple example would be, okay, and I'm on many boards. I'm on the board of Pakistan Institute of Fashion Design also. And in fact, this was a discussion we were having very recently because the course that is designed for PIFD is designed by Syndicat La Couture Paris, which is the affiliation. So it's a couture course. It's not a ready-to-wear course. Okay. Though in Pakistan, if you're teaching them how to make dresses and ball gowns, at the end of the day, they end up making shalwar kameezes. Yes. Right? So this year, we've decided that we're going to introduce a new foundation course, which is more focused on the Eastern wear garment rather than the Western wear garment. Okay. So same way, first you have to define your market. You have to decide which market do you want to cater to, whether you want to be a ready-to-wear market, whether you want to open 100 stores, whether you just want to be a bridal designer. अब उस हिसाब से अगर सोच के चलोगे कि मैंने तो सिर्फ शादी के जोड़े बनाने हैं, मेरे को पैसे बहुत बनेंगे, ठीक है ना? फिर तो तुम गए, ओके? क्योंकि तुम्हें सोच ही उल्टी है.
Exactly.
ठीक है ना? पहले डिज़ाइन तो कर लो भाई, okay? And find your own strength, find your own voice, and the most important, find your own individual style. Once you found that, then you don't have to worry about the market. Exactly. They'll keep on coming. They'll keep on coming. They'll keep on coming. Okay, because even customers or क्या कहते हैं, fashion lovers or fashion enthusiasts understand design. They understand that, oh, there's something unique that I want to go and buy and I want to wear it. They want to associate themselves with you also.
And it's ever changing.
It's always changing. It's faster than a TV model nowadays. I mean, it's nuts. Yes. Wow. Because, go ahead.
So, perfect. We've got a lot of questions asked. We've got a lot of queries answered. And I do believe that it's high time for our students to kind of look into these fields, to explore them, to travel, to make an identity of their own, to explore these dynamics and to know that it's safe, it's fun, it's different. I do agree with students who want to do the mainstream.
I want to say one thing, which is that why fashion design? Because fashion design के अंदर भी इतने सारे और mediums आ गए हैं. Fashion merchandising है, photography है, क्या fashion styling है. I mean, fashion window dressing है. I mean, there are thousands of things. Fashion buying है. There are thousands of things that you can do as far as fashion is concerned. तो ज़रूरी नहीं कि सिर्फ एक मैं डिज़ाइनर कि पप्पा मैं सिर्फ डिज़ाइनर ही बनूँगा.
मेरे ख्याल से वो एक लेबल अटैच हो गया है.
नहीं. Look at the transition. So 80% of the actors that you have on television, or 70% of the actors, were at some point models. Okay. They became models and then slowly the transition, फिर एक छोटा सा role मिल गया, फिर वहाँ से कोई actor बन गया, कोई singer बन गया, कोई कुछ बन गया. So as human being, you're constantly making yourself better. You're constantly, climbing and exploring and finding yourself. ठीक है. तो ये भी हो सकता है कि today you wanted to be a designer but you ended up becoming a merchandiser. ये भी हो सकता है कि you wanted to become a designer but you realized that this is not my forte. Photography is my forte. And you might become a photographer. So at least allow yourself to explore. Allow yourself to broaden your horizon. And get these fears out. I mean, 2023 में क्या डरना भाई, जो डर गया वो मर गया. पाकिस्तान में तो वैसे भी कोई जो डर गया वो मर गया. Okay.
Also, I'd like to ask, this career of modeling, and you have yourself done television. How did that happen? When did you decide that you need to pursue acting?
Actually, I didn't. I always thought about it. And then about 20 years ago, or 18 years ago, I think, I'd gone to Hum TV. I always tell this funny story. So the head of Hum TV, Sultana Siddiqui ji, she'd called me and they wanted me to design wardrobe for a period drama. So after the board meeting finished, I just got up and said that, Sultana Appa, you need a young designer for this project because you really can't afford me. Okay. and I kind of walked out and this meeting was over. Anyways, I recommended someone and the project moved forward. So 3 months later, she called me up and she said कि तुम तो वैसे ही इतने बदतमीज आदमी हो कि वो जो राइटर वहाँ बैठी हुई थी तुम्हारे लिए एक रोल लिखा है. ओके. और वो कह रही है कि मैं कनाडा शिफ्ट हो रही हूँ. अगर दीपक ये रोल करेगा तो ये स्क्रिप्ट आपको दूंगी, नहीं तो ये स्क्रिप्ट आपको नहीं मिलेगा. Okay. Samira Fazal was a writer and the drama was called Mere Paas Paas, which was Hum TV's first magnum opus. It was a massive hit with me, Mohammed Rana and Nadia Jameel, and I'm playing this husband and blah, blah, blah. Rest is history. So I said, "Aap चाह रही हैं कि मैं acting करूँ?" She said, "I think you'll actually be very good." So I said, "Okay." So that drama basically launched my career as an actor.
उसके बाद आपने सोचा कि कहीं और projects?
उसके बाद जब मैं बोर हो जाता था फैशन से और जब मैं क्या कहते हैं ऑर्डर्स देना बंद, जब मुझे बहुत ज़्यादा बॉसी हो जाता था मैं, तो I would just start doing projects because I found the dramas to be therapeutic for myself. कि वहाँ जाके बैठ जाओ और डायरेक्टर से पूछो, सर शॉट रेडी है, अच्छा चलें, चाय मिल जाएगी, अच्छा ठीक है, कपड़े इस्त्री हो गए, अच्छा ठीक है. So it was nice. It was nice to take orders from someone else instead of trying to be this constant boss all the time.
For the wind of change.
For the wind of change. So I think I must have done about, I just recently did a drama, Yoon Hi, where I'm playing Maya Ali's father. It's on air. It's also on Hum TV, Sunday, 8 o'clock. I think 26-27 उनकी किस्तें आ गई हैं अभी तक तो. So I did that. I did Sauteli. I did Kadurat. I did about 6-7 plays. Every 3-4 years. मैं normally नहीं करता.
See, that's interesting that you've always delved into these different personas of your personality. And
you must.
Exactly. Yes.
You must. अगर मज़ा कैसे आएगा ज़िंदगी में यार. अब रोज़ तो इंसान सुबह नहीं जा सकता कपड़े बनाने के लिए. I mean बहुत हो गया. और फिर रात को आओ फिर कपड़े डिस्कस करो. बहुत हो गया. How many aunties can you make happy in a day, yaar?
You just can't. Sorry. I think we need to edit this out. No, but very insightful, thoroughly refreshing, and all of us are deeply thankful for you to be here today. I hope that your queries, your questions are answered. I hope you enjoyed it. Mr. Perwani is already such a huge name, and I agree. I was a little bit nervous, so please pardon me for any hiccups. But thank you for being here once again. It was lovely to talk.
Guys, believe in your dreams, okay? You've got one life to live. Live it.
Perfect. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Take care.